If you clicked on this video, I already know something about you. You're the kind of person who takes your health seriously. You're not sitting around waiting for things to get worse. You're here right now, looking for real answers. And that tells me a lot. So let me tell you exactly what we're going to cover today, because this video is going to be well worth your time. We're talking about the first 2 hours after you wake up. Those 120 minutes. The ones most of us spend stumbling toward the coffee maker, maybe checking our phone, maybe just sitting on the edge of the bed, trying to remember what day it is. Those hours matter more to your blood sugar than almost any other window in your entire day. I know that might sound hard to believe, but by the time we're done here, you're going to understand exactly why, and you're going to have 5 specific, simple, completely free habits you can start tomorrow morning. I've been in this community long enough to hear the same story over and over again. Someone gets their A1C back from the doctor's office. The number is higher than it should be. Maybe it's been creeping up for years. And the doctor says, eat less sugar, exercise more, come back in 3 months. That's it. No roadmap, no explanation of what's actually happening inside your body, no acknowledgement of how confusing and honestly exhausting it is to try to change habits you've had for 60 or 70 years. You leave that office feeling like you did something wrong, and you're not entirely sure what. I've been there, and I want you to know that what you're feeling, that mix of frustration and determination, and maybe a little fear, that's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's your body and your mind telling you that something needs to change, and that you're ready to do something about it. Now here's the thing I want to plant in your mind right now. The question I want you to hold on to until the very end of this video. Why do 2 people eat the exact same breakfast, take the exact same walk, and end up with completely different blood sugar readings an hour later? One of them spikes, the other one barely moves. Same meal, same timing, completely different result. What's the difference? I'm going to tell you the answer before this video is over. And once you hear it, everything about how you manage your mornings is going to click into place in a way it never has before. I want to be upfront about something. I have spent an enormous amount of time, we're talking hundreds of hours, digging through peer-reviewed research, clinical nutrition studies, endocrinology journals, and real-world outcomes from people in our age group specifically. A lot of the information out there is designed for younger adults, and frankly, our bodies operate differently after 60. Our hormonal profiles are different. Our sleep architecture is different. Our insulin sensitivity responds to different triggers. So the 5 habits I'm sharing today aren't just general wellness advice, recycled from a listicle. These are specifically relevant to you, right now, at this stage of life. Before we dive in, if you're finding this useful, take 2 seconds right now, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video, and give this a thumbs up. It genuinely helps more people like you find this content. And drop a comment below, tell me what country you're watching from. I'd love to know where our community is tuning in from, around the world. Hold on a second. Before we go any further, I've put something together for you. It's called the Glucose Paradox. It's a free guide on blood sugar and diabetes, and you can grab it for free through the link in the description. I'm telling you this now because I want you to finish this video with a concrete tool in your hands. To get it right away, just click the link in the description, head over to my site, and drop your email. You'll receive the guide in your inbox a few minutes later. But I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let's get back to the video. So let's start at the very beginning. The moment your eyes open, your body has been doing something remarkable while you slept. Around 3 or 4 in the morning, even if you don't wake up and have no idea it's happening, your liver quietly begins releasing stored glucose into your bloodstream. At the same time, cortisol, the hormone often called the stress hormone, starts rising. This is called the dawn phenomenon, and it's completely natural. It's your body's way of preparing you for the demands of a new day, giving your muscles and your brain a little fuel to get moving. In a perfectly healthy metabolic system, insulin shows up right on cue and moves that glucose into your cells. The blood sugar spike is brief, mild, and totally managed. But for many of us dealing with diabetes or insulin resistance, that automatic management system isn't quite as responsive as it used to be. The glucose gets released, but the insulin response is slower, weaker, or less efficient. So you wake up with blood sugar that's already elevated before you've had a single bite of food, and then depending on what you do in those first 2 hours, you either set your metabolism up for a stable, well-regulated day, or you accidentally pour fuel on a fire that's already burning. That's what makes the morning window so critical. It's not just about breakfast. It's about the entire sequence of signals you send to your body before and during your first meal. And those signals ripple forward through the rest of your day, influencing how you respond to your lunch, your dinner, your afternoon snack. The metabolic tone you set in the morning is the foundation everything else is built on. Let's talk about the first habit. And I want you to really sit with this one, because it's so simple that a lot of people brush right past it. The very first thing you should do when you wake up, before you make coffee, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, is drink water. 1 to 2 full glasses, right there in the first 15 minutes. I know it sounds almost too basic to mention, but here's what's actually happening when you do this. After 7 or 8 hours without fluids, your blood is more concentrated. That concentration makes it harder for insulin to do its job efficiently. Think of it this way. Insulin is trying to ferry glucose from your bloodstream into your cells. But if the traffic in that bloodstream is thick and sluggish, the ferrying is slow and inefficient. Hydrating first thing in the morning literally thins out that traffic. It improves the efficiency of every insulin molecule your pancreas is already working hard to produce. There's a second mechanism at work here too. Your kidneys are remarkably good at filtering excess glucose out of the blood, but only when they have enough fluid to work with. When you're mildly dehydrated, which most of us are when we first wake up, your kidneys hold back. They conserve fluid rather than expel it. That means the excess glucose just sits there. Give your kidneys what they need, and they get back to work. Keep a full glass of water on your nightstand. That's it. That's the entire change. You don't need a special brand or a particular temperature, just water. Within the first 15 minutes of waking up, every morning, the second habit is one that changed how I think about my entire morning routine, and it costs absolutely nothing. Within 30 minutes of waking up, get outside and get some sunlight on your face. Or, if that's not possible on a given morning, sit by a bright window. I'm not talking about sunbathing. I'm not talking about an hour outside. I mean 5 to 10 minutes of natural light exposure, ideally direct, and ideally in the morning. Here's why this matters so much for blood sugar specifically. Your body has an internal clock, a circadian rhythm, and it governs far more than just when you feel sleepy. It also governs your metabolic sensitivity throughout the day. Research has shown clearly that light exposure in the morning helps synchronize that internal clock. And when your clock is properly synchronized, your cells become more sensitive to insulin during the daytime hours when you're eating and active. A well-synchronized circadian rhythm essentially tells your body, it's daytime, we're going to be eating soon, let's get our glucose uptake systems ready to go. When we skip that morning light signal, when we wake up and go straight into a dim house or stare at screens, our bodies can remain in a kind of metabolic twilight, not fully switched into daytime mode. For people managing diabetes, that delay in metabolic readiness can translate directly into higher post-meal blood sugar spikes. So after you drink your water, open the door, step out onto the porch, stand by the window if it's cold or raining. 5 minutes, morning light, every day. Now we move into the part of the morning that I think surprises most people the most. And this is where the third habit comes in. Before you eat breakfast, before you sit down to anything at the table, move your body. Not a lot, not a workout. I'm talking about 5 to 10 minutes of gentle movement, a slow walk around the block, some light stretching, maybe a few easy range of motion exercises in your living room. Whatever feels comfortable and doable for you on any given morning. Here's what's happening when you do this. Your muscles are the single largest consumer of glucose in your body. When they're active, even gently, even slowly, they begin pulling glucose directly out of your bloodstream through a pathway that doesn't even require insulin. That's remarkable. Your muscles can eat up blood sugar without waiting for the insulin signal, but only when they're moving. When you sit still, that pathway is essentially switched off. By getting your muscles moving before your first meal, You're doing two things simultaneously. First, you're lowering the baseline glucose level that was already elevated from the dawn phenomenon. Second, and this is the part that affects your entire day, you're priming those muscles to remain in glucose-hungry mode. Studies in older adults have shown that just 5 to 10 minutes of gentle pre-breakfast movement can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by 15 to 20% compared to sitting still. That's not a trivial number. That's a meaningful, measurable difference from a 10-minute walk. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to sweat. You just need to be upright and gently moving. Your muscles will do the rest. The fourth habit is the one that I hear the most pushback on, and I completely understand why, because it requires you to change something that feels very deeply habitual. But I promise you, once you understand the mechanism behind it, the pushback fades pretty quickly. It's about the order in which you eat your breakfast. Most of us were raised to eat our meals in a pretty intuitive way. A little bit of everything, more or less at the same time. A piece of toast, some eggs, maybe some fruit. We mix it all together on the plate and alternate bites. That's perfectly normal, and I'm not asking you to give up any of those foods. I'm asking you to change the sequence. Here's the science. When you eat carbohydrates, bread, fruit, oatmeal, anything that converts to glucose, your blood sugar rises in direct response to how quickly those carbohydrates reach your small intestine and get absorbed. Eat the carbs first on an empty stomach, and they rush straight through, get absorbed rapidly, and cause a sharp spike in blood glucose. But when you eat protein first, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, even a small handful of nuts, something interesting happens. The protein triggers a response in your stomach and your gut that literally slows down the rate at which food leaves your stomach. It's called gastric emptying, and protein slows it down significantly. By the time the carbohydrates you eat afterward reach your small intestine, they arrive more gradually, get absorbed more slowly, and produce a much gentler rise in blood sugar. This isn't a theory or a fringe idea. There are multiple well-designed clinical studies, including some conducted specifically in people with type 2 diabetes, showing that eating protein before carbohydrates at the same meal can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. 30% from doing nothing more than changing the order. So tomorrow morning, eggs first, then toast. Yogurt first, then the fruit. It takes no extra time and costs nothing. And your glucose monitor, if you're using one, will show you the difference in real time. Now we arrive at the fifth habit, and I need you to hear this one without getting defensive, because I know how sacred the morning coffee ritual is. I share it. I love my morning coffee. I'm not asking you to give it up. I'm asking you to wait. Drinking coffee or caffeinated tea on a completely empty stomach, nothing in your system at all can cause your liver to release stored glucose. The mechanism is straightforward. Caffeine stimulates the production of adrenaline, and adrenaline signals your liver to release its glucose reserves. This is an evolutionary response designed to help you run from danger. Your liver doesn't know you're just sitting in your kitchen. It just knows adrenaline is present, and it responds accordingly. For people with healthy insulin sensitivity, this liver dump is handled quickly and efficiently. For people managing diabetes or pre-diabetes, it can cause a noticeable, unnecessary spike in fasting blood sugar right at the start of the day, before you've eaten a single thing. The solution is simply to have something small before your coffee, your water, which you're already drinking. Then a small bite of protein, just a few bites of eggs or a spoonful of yogurt. Then your coffee. That tiny amount of food is enough to blunt the adrenaline-driven liver response. Your cortisol has something to work with. The caffeine hits the system more gently, and your blood sugar stays steadier. You still get your coffee. You still get your ritual. You just put a very small, very simple buffer in front of it. Now I want to bring all 5 of these habits together and walk you through what a complete morning looks like when you put them all in sequence. Because the magic isn't just in any single habit, it's in the sequence. These habits build on each other in a way that compounds their individual benefits. You wake up. Before your feet even fully hit the floor, you reach for that glass of water on the nightstand. You drink it slowly, no rush, no gulping, and you let your body begin to hydrate and thin out that overnight blood concentration. That's the first signal. Kidneys, we're working. Insulin, The road is clear. You put on whatever you have on and step outside or pull open the blinds. 5 minutes in the morning light. You're breathing. You're not doing anything strenuous. You're just receiving the light signal that tells your circadian clock. It's morning. It's daytime. Let's get metabolically ready. Your cells are beginning to respond. Your insulin sensitivity is warming up like an engine in cool weather. You do a short, gentle walk or a few stretches. Maybe you walk slowly down the driveway and back. Maybe you do some easy shoulder rolls and hip circles in the kitchen. Your muscles are activating. The glucose uptake pathway that doesn't need insulin is quietly switching on. The blood sugar that accumulated overnight during the dawn phenomenon is beginning to be absorbed. Now you sit down to eat. You have eggs or yogurt first, whatever protein source you enjoy. You eat it slowly, without rushing. You let it settle in your stomach. Now you add the carbohydrates, your whole grain toast, your piece of fruit, your oatmeal. They arrive in your digestive system behind the protein, slowed down by the gastric response, absorbed gradually, creating a gentle and manageable rise in blood glucose, rather than a sharp, stressful spike. With your meal, or just after, not on an empty stomach, you have your coffee. The caffeine enters a system that has food in it, protein in it, that has already been gently moved and hydrated and light-activated. The adrenaline response still happens, because that's chemistry. But the liver response is dampened. Your blood sugar doesn't swing wildly. It rises normally with your meal and comes back down in a smooth, steady arc. And now here is the answer to the question I asked you at the beginning of this video. 2 people eat the same breakfast. One spikes, one doesn't. What's the difference? The one who doesn't spike drank water first, got some light, moved before eating, ate protein before carbs, had coffee with food. The other person skipped all of those steps, rolled out of bed, poured coffee immediately, sat down, ate their toast and fruit first, didn't move at all. Same meal, completely different metabolic context. The sequence of signals that morning created 2 entirely different biological environments for that identical breakfast to land in. That is the power of the morning window. That is why those first 2 hours matter so much more than most people realize. And here's what I want you to hold on to as you head into your next morning. This doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require that you do all 5 flawlessly from day 1. Start with 1, just 1. Maybe it's the water, because that's the easiest and most immediate. Or maybe it's the protein first habit at breakfast, because you can start that tomorrow without any extra planning. Pick the one that feels most doable for you right now. Build it into your routine until it's automatic, and then add the next one. Consistency over weeks and months, not perfection on any single day, is what moves the needle on a 1C. The people who see real, lasting improvement in their blood sugar management are not the ones who overhauled everything overnight. They're the ones who quietly, persistently made small, smart choices, morning after morning, until those choices stopped feeling like choices and just became how they live. You have more control over this than you've been told. Your morning is a powerful metabolic lever. You just needed someone to show you where to put your hands. And hey, if you made it all the way here, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button to let me know this was worth your time. And leave a comment below. Tell me what country you're watching from. Seriously, I read every single one, and it means a lot to see how far this community reaches. You know what the problem is with diabetes and high blood sugar? Most people find out way too late, and by the time they do, they have no idea where to even start. That's why I decided to create a free guide. It's called the Glucose Paradox, and inside, you'll find everything you wish you'd known sooner. I'll explain how blood sugar actually works, and why your body sometimes reacts the exact opposite way you'd expect. That's why it's called a paradox. I've also included concrete habits you can start changing right now, even if you know zero about nutrition or medicine. It's free, you can download it in a second, and it might be the single most useful thing you do for your health today. Just click the link in the description to head to the site, drop your email, and get the guide sent straight to you. Don't put this off.